Yeah, Manchester City kicked off their season with an emphatic win over Palermo. Well, it was never in doubt. Everybody expected Manchester City to demolish Palermo, but that is not the case. Haaland did his best. That's what Haaland does. World class striker. That's what you get. But the thing is, that's not really the problem. It's not about the win. It was expected Man City were to dominate the game. Palermo didn't pose no threat, to them. They were superior in every area. But there is something I observed about it. Why is it that Manchester City has this ability to look at their system, look at the playing system, look at the DNA of Manchester City, which Pep Guardiola has actually created over time, and pick players that fit into it? Funny enough, these players don't ring a bell. No, they don't. Because throughout the transfer period, nobody was talking about Tijani Reinders. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was talking about the Netherlands guy. In fact, the guy is a baller, total baller, super baller. That is what scouting is all about. You sit down not to just go about names. You don't go about jumping on players just because they had a breakout season or just because everybody's hyping it. No, they sit down, they watch players, and they check, does this guy fit into the system? That's why when they bring in a player, how many players actually flopped at Manchester City? Have we thought about that? Can you name like four players that have flopped at Manchester City? That Guardiola presided over the signing at Manchester City, and the player came in and flopped. If there is any, maybe you should actually tell me, because it's always very difficult for a player that Pep Guardiola actually saw, scouted and brought in to flop. At first they brought in Mamouche, and all of a sudden the guy played as if, God Almighty, his goal contribution last season was high. His goal contribution last season was superb and it was high. How is it that Manchester City always get these things right over other clubs, over and over again? I think the scouting system needs to be studied. They have the money to buy the hyped players, but no, they go for something that works with the system and the DNA of the club. That is one place I always doff my cap for Manchester City and Guardiola scouting team. That is a superb work. Tijani Reinders. Premier League is not ready for this guy. This guy is good. He's a total baller. He's that kind of a